Lanteria, a Gold Microsoft partner. Today we're going to be talking about SharePoint 2019 and HR talent management, learning, performance management with our updated platform. A little bit of housekeeping for today. This presentation is going to be recorded and will be available on our website. As a result, your microphones are going to be muted, and I'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation via the chat window. Well, first off, a little bit about our discussion. It's presented by Mike Ament. I'm an account executive here at Lanteria, and below is my contact information, phone, and email. I'll present this at the end of the presentation as well, so you'll be able to reach out and ask me any questions or follow up with any things you'd like me to follow up with after this presentation. So first, a little bit about Lanteria. Lanteria is a leading developer of HR management, talent, performance, and learning software designed for the SharePoint platform. Lanteria is a mature HR solution with best practices already baked into our product. This provides you on day one with an enterprise class solution with over 13 plus years of industry expertise. We deliver innovative integrated solutions that include easy to use automated workflows, which are designed to boost our clients' productivity. Lanteria is an international company with clients in over 40 countries worldwide. And we've been around for over 13 years, so we've got lots of experience, a lot of best practices already baked into our products. 200,000 plus users around the globe, and over 250 companies that use Lanteria HR for their HR platform. Lanteria is an award-winning HR software solution with well-known clients. You may have recognized some of these company logos, and just recently this year, we just have another award. We've been awarded a Premier Microsoft Application Award, which will be in the next set of slides that we update for this presentation. So let's talk about SharePoint for HR and why we built Lanteria on top of SharePoint. SharePoint and, of course, its counterpart, Office 365, are the fastest growing Microsoft product segments that they have. Currently, there's over 200 million SharePoint users worldwide and over 1.2 billion Office 365 users. These tools help organizations improve their productivity and provide a great collaboration platform for the organizations to work with. Let's talk about those 7 reasons HR professionals choose SharePoint. First off is collaboration. Today's HR software solutions are not just for HR anymore, but designed for the entire company. SharePoint is a highly collaborative environment, sometimes called a portal, which delivers or shares information between employees, their managers, as well as enabling self-service and automated processes that can free up valuable time for mission-critical work. Storage. SharePoint has tons of storage. With its built-in document management repository, SharePoint is a great place to store and share your company policies, procedures, employee documents, and almost any other company content you'd like to share with your HR team and your employees. Personalization is really important. It's really important to deliver the right content to the right people in your organization. Our role-based system allows employees, their managers, and your HR team access to and can also restrict information from unauthorized users. SharePoint provides the best in both security and personalization. Customization is important. Each company is unique. They have their own specific goals. And I found by talking to our clients that a lot of other systems force you to align your goals with their pre-built designs. But with Lanteria and SharePoint, you can actually customize the system to align exactly with your business workflows. And a lot of this work can be done through what we call configuration settings. And your IT team can do that in-house without having to come to us. And it ends up saving a lot of money and time when you can actually tweak the system to meet your needs on your own. Next up it's highly integrated with Microsoft Office. So it's a great benefit when your HR solution can be integrated with your business tools. So now you have your employee interviews, your absences, your vacation schedules, training classes automatically being populated to your company calendar, allowing each employees to find this information via their Outlook calendar. Also have integration directly with Microsoft Office, Power BI, the combination of SharePoint and Microsoft and Lanteria are kind of designed to bring all these pieces together in one integrated solution. Security. Security is absolutely critical for sensitive HR data. You can create permissions based on your employee's role, group, or position in your organization, and you have very granular control of who sees what and what's available to each employee. And of course, access anywhere. With SharePoint, you have an HR portal access any place, any device, whether it's your desktop, laptop, tablet, or phone. We support both the Android and the Apple iOS platforms. So let's talk about SharePoint versus other versions. First up, SharePoint 2019 has been rolled out, and they've created what they call a new user experience. This is basically an update to their UI UX, allowing enhancements in navigation, making SharePoint easier to navigate, easier to use, and improving the interactions that you have within the system. Modern pages and lists. This is something that's built into SharePoint. The pages have been updated with a modern look and feel. It's easily to manipulate the data. And of course, in SharePoint lists, you can stay organized and even save more time by organizing the data that kind of meets your specific requirements. Deeper Power Apps and Flow integration. So Power Apps and Flows are powerful tools that extend the SharePoint functionality. And this, in addition to being able to customize the system that I spoke about earlier, Lanteria HR can use these apps and Flow to improve your specific scenarios or HR processes. It's more about customization around your organizational requirements. And of course, an updated homepage and app launcher. Similar to what SharePoint Online has, the homepage and app launcher menu is now easier to work with, and SharePoint-based HR tool is designed directly into what they call an HR portal. So I'll show you that when I move on to the application itself. Some exciting new features. There's a PDF viewer installed, so it allows you to not only store PDF documents, but also view them right on the site. And of course, integration with OneDrive for Business. It's, again, another Microsoft integration, allowing you to integrate all of the Microsoft tools into one platform, essentially being able to log into one system and have access to all of your information in one place. And finally, we offer still the on-premise. We have a lot of customers who want their SharePoint on-premise, and they want to control access. They want to control their system. They want to update and manage their own hardware. So we offer our SharePoint system, or actually a Lanteria system on SharePoint for on-premise users. And we also offer it in what they call a hybrid environment, where we sync it to Office 365 and essentially use single sign-on to allow your employees to log into Office 365 and have access to their HR data with one login. So let's kind of switch into the Lanteria HR demo, and I'll kind of walk through the different modules that we have. So here's our main landing page or dashboard. This is a web-based application, so I'm accessing it through a web browser. You can use any of the modern web browsers that you have on your system. It's a role-based system. As I said earlier, you have different roles. In this demo system, I have an HR administrator who can see everything. I have a manager who has access to seeing information for only their team members only. I have an employee login, which allows me to see only my information and nothing else. And then I can create additional logins, sub-logins, sub-administrators. Here's a local HR admin. This person could see all the information in their region, but not any other region or other offices in the organization. So again, this is a very granular type of a system, and a lot of my customers will create different roles. Like they will create like a performance manager who will have full access to the performance management system, but no access to any of the other modules for an admin type of an administrative type role. On the main screen, we have our dashboard with our modern interface. As I mouse over, you'll see activities will pop up, and I can see the details there. Especially handy if you have a very busy chart, which this isn't terribly busy, but you can see the detailed information here. And on the left-hand side, I have activities, and these activities are live activities. They replace emails, sticky notes, to-do lists, people stopping by your office. Essentially, I can see there's 13 people waiting for approval, a bunch of missing documents, some help desk requests, and 15 people want to take a learning course. So this allows me to focus my daily activities on what is important. If I want to find or look at the underlying data, I just click on a link, and it will bring me to the specific data within the system, and I can go ahead and take a look at, like maybe I want to find out who has not acknowledged the policy manual. I can click that link, and it'll just pull up that specific data for me, and now I can see the people who need to be prodded gently to submit their policy acknowledgments. Now, you don't have to do this all yourself. The system will also do this for you. All these people will be receiving notifications from the system by email, and they'll have a notification on their dashboard indicating that they have a policy acknowledgement document which they have to acknowledge. So we can provide notifications and remind people to do certain things. It takes the load off of HR and automates that process for you. The Lanteria system is based on individual modules. They can be purchased individually or as a complete system, and they comprise of our core HR module, which is our main database. This is where we store all the employee information. We organize it in what we call the org structure. We set up our jobs and positions. We have approval management system so that if you wish to take some time off, ask for a raise, or take a training course, you can send your manager a notification, and the manager will then be able to respond accordingly. We have automated workflows built in the system, and we have a full document repository available to you to store documents. These can be public documents, these can be private documents, but essentially they allow you access to specific documents. I'll touch on a few of these modules so you can see the underlying data sets. Essentially, it allows you to do keyword searching. If I happen to know an employee's ID number, I can type it in. Of course, everybody knows everybody's employee ID number in your company, so we probably would prefer a name. Maybe we'll look for Megan, start typing the name, and there we have Megan. I can also view data or visualize data in the system. We have different views, org chart views, alphabetically by job roles, and of course the standard employee chart. Now this allows you to pull data and visualize data within the system. Now I can see everybody, the reporting structures here. I can export this out to a PDF if I want to have a document to take to a meeting, and every link in the system is a hyperlink, so it allows me to open up a specific person. I'll be able to see the specific details. And you'll notice one thing that's kind of unique about Lanteria is this card is tied to every module in the system. So from one location, I can find learning information, performance details, compensation information, enhanced details, and just general information about the employee. And again, all the data in the system is pulled from a database, so if we need to add additional fields or modify a field, you can easily do that. We don't make you hunt and peck looking for data. It's all available in one location. Org structure is very similar to the employee chart I showed you earlier. Jobs and positions is more of a setup. Approval requests allow you to have an employee send a note to a manager. The manager can then review that note and then make an approval or maybe reject it. And also we can also communicate with the employee requesting a change, which will send it back to the employee, who then can make a modification to their note, put a comment in there, and send it back to the manager, who can then approve it. Everything in the system is time and date stamped, so we know when it was created and when it was approved. So you can run productivity reports to see how responsive management is to employee requests. We also have a unique workflow system that does not require any programming. We give you a few onboarding, offboarding, probation reviews to start with, but the real power of the system comes into play when you can create your own templates. And these are essentially templates that you fill in forms. Again, no programming is required. If I took a look at a sample template here, I can see there's different steps that the system's going to go through. You can add additional steps very easily by clicking the action button. And then essentially just a simple filling in a form. I want this done in 5 days. I can do things like assign tasks, send out notifications, fill out forms, or upload documents. And I can assign this to different people in the organization and even create specific working groups so that I can assign to activities to people and have people available during vacation schedules, or we have different shifts or different areas. People can kind of be part of a group and participate. So again, no programming, and these steps are then automatic when these workflows are started. As an admin, I can see at a very high level all the workflows that are currently underway. I could open any one up, and now I can see what's been completed, what's still in process. As an admin, I can go in and update these, or I can just let the individual people process these through. So again, I'm not doing the individual processes as an admin. I am essentially looking at a high level, working on exceptions and seeing the workflow gets done. The system monitors the individual activities, each step, and nothing falls between the cracks or gets lost in the system. And finally, we have our document repository where we can store documents. We have employee private documents, and we have company-based documents. These documents are made available to the employees where they can come in, they can browse, they can find what they're looking for, and they can download. So if I want to download a policy manual or some procedures, I can get them very easily without having to go to HR for them to get it for me. So this is the basic HR core module. It's the base of the system. It's the automation. It's where everything is kept. The compensation module is tied to that, where we have a salary sheet. We have salary reviews. We have bonuses. The bonuses are tied to the performance system, so we can send data over directly for bonus payment. And we can also do what we call ranges and grades, where we can store salary ranges, salary grades, and then do what we call a range analysis. Again, we're an international company, so we're multi-currency, multi-language, Canadian dollars. Punch that up, and I can see now there is the midpoint for this position, above the midpoint, below the midpoint. Again, Lanteria does a great job of visualizing data for you. So compensation and core are tied together. On top of that, you can add what we call our time and attendance module. This allows you to set up absence plans, manage timesheets, manage absence lists, and of course, we publish an out-of-office calendar. Here you can see on any specific day, today is the 24th. I can click on the 24th and see who is out of the office, when they started, when they're returning, what their duration is, who their manager is, and if they've assigned an acting person to act on their behalf, it will show up here. So again, this is very handy if you're trying to reach somebody. You can check here first and see if they're actually in the office, and if they're on vacation, you'll know when they're coming back. Our recruiting module is a full applicant tracking system, allows you to set up job openings, manage candidates, and schedule interviews directly out of the system utilizing Microsoft Outlook Free Visit Calendar to see if a recruiter is available on a specific day, so you do not have to do the up and back. Would Thursday at 2 o'clock or Friday at 1 be better for you? You can actually look at their calendar and see when they're free, schedule the interview, and push it out to both the applicant and the recruiter itself. The job openings can be created within the system. We can take these job openings and we can actually publish them to a job portal. And this portal can reside on your website. And essentially, an applicant will come in here and they will look at a job, they'll select it, it will start a workflow, they'll fill in information, provide their details, upload a resume, send this information back to the system where your recruiters will be able to work with this. You can schedule opening questions, set up interview stages, work with the candidates who have applied for the job. And we have a lot of automation built in, so I can do some batch actions right out of the start to generate letters. Thanks for sending your resume. We're going to get back to you after we review it. I can manage interviews in groups. I can put people on short lists. I can collect information. We can do summary scoring, some stack ranking here, store documents, and of course schedule interviews directly from the system. So it's a great time saver, allowing you to work through the applicant process and move people along from an applicant to a real employee. Now the nice thing about being a united system is when I open up an employee card here, it'll look very similar to the card I showed you earlier, except it's not tied to any of the modules because it's not really an employee. So here I can work with their documents, their history. When it's time, I can send job offer letters out. And when accepted, I can create the employee, which will then copy all the information, all the details here will be copied and sent over to the core HR, and the new employee will be set up automatically. So again, another great time saver in automation, moving data from one module to the other. And I've talked to a lot of companies who have a core HR system. They have a separate time and attendance system. They have a separate recruiting system and a separate performance and learning systems. Being disjointed, the systems don't talk to one another. Having a unified system allows you to send data from one module to the other seamlessly. Our performance management system allows you to create performance reviews, set up goals within the organization. We can set up both the high-level organizational goals, regional goals, and individual goals for employees, as well as KPIs. We can collect and give feedback amongst employees, so an employee can solicit feedback on a specific project from their team, or they can give feedback to their other team members. We can set up competencies and skills within the system, and we also have a 360 feedback, which is the peer review process. The performance review system, again, is a template-based system, so you're not limited to just your annual review anymore. You can do different types of reviews. You can do promotional, you can do project reviews, you can do 30-day, mid-year, whatever you like. You can start a review round by just selecting this button. It will ask you what type of review round do you want to go through, what type of workflow, who's going to be invited. You can watch the reviews here, see how many are active, how many are completed. I can pull up specific details of any review round I'd like to see and look at the details here. And if I want, I can also drill down into actual individual reviews of the individual employees as well and see specific details on a unique employee. We can also do what we call an ad hoc review. This would be an off-cycle type review where you want to do maybe a performance review plan or just do a quick one-on-one survey. You can do an ad hoc where you can actually click review and select just one employee to have a review with. Again, this is a very easy-to-use system, template-based, very straightforward. Our learning management system allows you to create a learning catalog where you have your learning materials will be organized via. Let me click that open right now. We can organize them by specific categories. We can organize them by job roles. We can organize them by competencies. We store training. We can store document training. Any kind of electronic document can be stored. E-learning courses can be courses that you author or buy. We are SCORM compliant. We also have different engines for different learning modules as well. We support web links to outside services, and there's a built-in quiz builder as well. I'll switch to the employee view in just a second to show you how these are added into their profiles. But from the learning area, we can create a learning catalog. We can then organize that catalog into what we call curricula, where we have different curricula. So if I assign somebody this curricula, this HR Part 1, I'll see here there's 4 bits of learning in here. When I assign this to an employee, they're going to get 3 courses and a quiz at one time. So it's a great time saver for the trainers who have to assign track training or learning. A lot of our construction companies will set up curricula for electrical, plumbing, carpentry, heavy equipment, and they'll assign all the courses at one time. Also a great time saver, especially for people who are doing Microsoft certificates. There's a number of courses that have to be taken in sequence. You can set those up as well. We will publish a training schedule where you can see when trainings are going to be made available. And you can see this training has 14 seats available. When those 14 seats are gone, the system will stop accepting and put people on a wait list. Again, we color-coded for easy identification for the courses. We do manage certificates in the system, allowing you to set up different types of certificates. These certificates can be issued with a specific expiration date. I can add learning material to them, and when the employee takes the learning material and passes the course, the certificate will be reissued for another period of time. They fail the course, the certificate is not reissued, and then we can run compliance reports in our reporting engine to show who is in compliance and who is not. We have a built-in quiz builder allowing you to create quizzes within the system, and One of the additions we did based on customer responses, we had a situation where a lot of companies were doing intake. They had a quiz they were giving their new employees. They had a room with 10 computers. During the quiz, somebody would yell out, "What's the answer to number 4?" And everybody would yell out, "Of course, it's 3." The administrator of the proctor didn't like that, so we got a number of requests, so we actually built a repository where all the questions live, and now you can have them assigned to the quiz in a random fashion. So you can make a repository at 10 questions, send the 10 questions to a quiz in different orders. So no more grade school cheating here. And of course, we can also manage training requests. This is very similar to what I showed you earlier. An employee can ask for training. The manager can then approve that if it's something that maybe costs money, you want to monitor that. And lastly, we have succession planning, where we work with career goals, career paths. We can build out talent pools, and we can do full succession planning for your key management. Last module here is our report center. This allows you to create customized reports. I can generate a report on my own. If I want to build a custom report, I can go right in here. And I don't need to know how to build SQL reports. I just have to know what I want to report on. I want to report on, say, I want to do maybe training. I'll decide who's going to run the reports. And then there's going to be a little wizard that'll actually walk me through selecting the fields. Pick what fields I want. And then I can order additional fields up, add additional fields to the list, and select the fields, and then order, filter, group, and order them, and then preview it. Quite simple. It takes about 10 minutes to build a report. We have some pre-built reports that are included with the system. So you see they're very interactive, and they provide great visualization here as well. And a lot of reports are interactive as well. So like a performance report, if I want to take a look at some maybe competency analysis throughout the organization, I can generate that report. And that's great, but maybe I want to zero in and maybe look at specific employees for a specific competency group and see who my competency group for leadership skills are, and maybe even refine that more to say maybe my upper management. So here again, these are my managers with great leadership skills. So again, getting data out of the system is very easy. The pre-built reports are for each module, and we also have a lot of nice features as far as bringing data in, bringing data out, quite straightforward. And there's some also built-in integrations as well. Currently, we support integrations with, obviously, Exchange and Office 365, but we do support LinkedIn Learning for training, ADP integration for payroll, DocuSign integration for signatures, and Predictive Index. We'll be rolling out in the fourth quarter of 2019 integration with the job aggregators for the recruiting modules, so you can push out your recruiting needs out to the aggregators for inclusion in their distribution as well. Before we run out of time, let me kind of switch over from the high-level admin view and bring it down to more of an employee view. So when an employee logs in, you'll notice that the ribbon at the top is going to change. Here they have access to their specific details, their card. They can make changes, change their address, update information. They can see what documents they have in the system, what documents need to be updated, check their approval requests, work with their development plan. We can provide organizational information, such as giving them access to the org chart or out-of-office calendar. Obviously, they can look for jobs within the organization, track their absences, track their timesheets. And of course, they can work with their goals and their performance reviews and essentially work on career paths and provide feedback. So again, everything is self-service in the organization, allowing the employees to interact with management, interact with each other, and provide a unified platform for communication and information exchange. Let me switch out of here for a second and go back to where we were. Okay, let's take some questions at this point, and I'll put up my final information here. You can record that and give me a call or send me an email if you have any specific questions. Let me step over here to the chat area here. And let's see what we got here. So somebody wants to know about Lanturia's cost. So we sell Lanteria on a subscription basis based on the number of employees and the number of modules that are being licensed. So if you have one module, there'll be one price. If you have all the modules, there'll be more price. If you want a specific price, just send me a quick email letting me know how many employees you have and which modules you're interested in. I'd be happy to give you a personalized quotation for your organization. Here's a question on, again, Lanteria modules. No, you don't have to buy all of the modules. You can buy individual modules. The performance module and the learning module are freestanding. The core HR is usually recommended, but not required for those two. The core HR is a requirement for the time and attendance and the recruiting module, only from the standpoint is those two modules do talk to one another. Okay, here's a question on Lanteria and okay, where can it be installed? Okay, so Lanteria can be installed. It's basically a SharePoint application, so it's actually installed as a SharePoint site collection for the techies out there. It can be installed on an on-premise SharePoint server, or it can be installed in what we call a hybrid mode, where it can be hosted in the cloud and connected to your Office 365 environment. If you have some specific technical questions, our website has some documentation. You can download the specific information you're looking for, and we provide full details on our implementation options. Okay, here's a question on the recruiting module being integrated. So yeah, as I said earlier, we are going to be installing an integration that allows Lanteria to be published. In other words, your recruiting information can be published to what we call a job aggregator. And this job aggregator will publish out to all of the recruiting sites. So, you know, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, LinkedIn, all those places that you would normally go to, it'll be pushed out to those areas. So they'll be coming in Q4 of 2019. And you can look at our release notes on our website and see when it's released, or send me a note. I'd be happy to send you a follow-up when that actually gets released. I don't have an exact specific date, but it's scheduled for release in Q4 2019, which is just a few days away. So sometime between now and the end of the year. Okay, here's a question on LinkedIn profiles, and I'm not sure if the LinkedIn profile itself is going to be accepted as a way to apply, because we do use an application to collect the user's email and password for security. I can definitely check. Why don't you send me an email, and I'd be happy to take a look at that and give you some more information. That's something I would ask one of the developers to let me know how that would work. Here's a question on how many employees can Lanteria manage. Well, since it is a server-based application, essentially the size of the server matters. People always laugh when I say size matters, but it does. We can scale Lanteria up to almost any size. So I've got companies running just a few hundred employees, and I've got companies running tens of thousands of employees on the system. It can scale up quite nicely, and obviously, as we scale up, we increase the server size, the performance requirements, and load balancing, things like that. But essentially, we can scale up to serve any size organization. I think our largest organization that we service today has over 20,000 employees, and our smallest one just has a couple hundred. So we can manage any size employee count with our server-based application. And here's a question on configuration. So I said earlier, we can do some configuration on your own. Lanteria works with SharePoint, and SharePoint is based on a list system. So if you go into the SharePoint lists and make changes, in other words, add fields, modify the headers, make changes to it, these changes will then be read by Lanteria and brought into the application. So changes you make in the back end will be reflected in the front end. So as a SharePoint person, if you are comfortable working with SharePoint lists, you can go in and modify them yourself. If you're not a SharePoint person, have us do it. We'd be happy to modify it for you. Again, these are what they call configuration changes, which you can do yourself, which basically are additions and changes in workflows and activities and headers and things like that. We also have the ability to do what they call customizations, where we can actually customize the code for you, and that does require our engineers to do, because we're actually writing new code, and you'll be put on a different code path. And here's a question on integration. So Lanteria essentially can be integrated with any application that has what they call open APIs. It's Application Program Interface. And in that way, we can integrate with Oracle, SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Great Plains, any application that we can communicate with. We have the ability to transfer data and communicate with them. Here's a question on Power BI. So since Power BI is a Microsoft product, we do integrate with it. You can use Power BI to extract data from the SQL database directly, use that to create dashboards, use that to create custom reports, and essentially extract data from the SQL database the way any custom Power BI chart would be made. So again, it is integrated. We are integrated with all the Microsoft products. So whether it's Power BI, Outlook, Excel, Word, everything Microsoft is supported within the SharePoint environment. These are great questions. Okay, I see some more people typing. I'll let them finish their typing, and then we'll kind of wrap this up and call it a day. Okay, here's a question about Lanteria and where we provide services. So we have offices here in the US and over in Europe, and we have partners around the world. So you can get access to Lanteria service almost anywhere you are. Again, we have customers in over 40 countries worldwide, and partners throughout the world as well. So we're there to serve and provide assistance no matter where you are in the world. Okay, I think that's all of the questions we have for today. I'd like to thank you for attending our presentation. If any questions bubble up, or if you have questions after the presentation, again, you can get a hold of me at my phone number, which is on the screen, or send me an email. My email is there as well. Have a great afternoon, and thank you for attending our presentation.